so exciting. We're at the Caledonian Hotel in Edinburgh, and I'm going upstairs to meet Sean Connery. And better still, he's going to come to my flat. And better still, we're going to sit and watch his movies and talk about them. Can you believe it? We're going to film it, and you're going to see it. Hello? 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 Hey, hello. Hiya.
Ah, how are you?
Lovely to see you.
You just
Are you not ready yet?
Well,
do you want us to give you a few minutes?
Well, yeah, I've just put this on.
All right, it looks good. We'll give you a few minutes, and then could we just have a quick look at your view, and then we'll cut, and then we'll get into the car. Come in. Look at this. Thanks for coming all this way from Spain, Sean. That's very nice of you. Look at this view. When Scotland becomes independent and you become the King of Scotland, this will be your court.
Yeah, that's where they'll bury me, just over there.
Sean, so we are driving along in the heart of Edinburgh, right? What would happen if we stopped the car and you walked along the street? How would people react to you?
Well, it would turn out I'd probably know half of them, but they'd all be old age pensioners.
Do you ever feel that you've lost something by becoming a superstar, and that you cannot? It's been 35 years since you could just slip across through this city. Now there's a woman there just looking at you in your car, and her eyes are popping out of her head.
Well, to slip through the city, when I used to slip through before, it was often accompanied with a kick in the arse by having to jump the railings, because there was times when you're allowed in the park and times you weren't allowed. And we used to love getting in when you were not supposed to be there.
You became a superstar.
Sounds like this is your life.
And you became James Bond 007. Or as the Italians called you, Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Bang Bang.
Which is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
How early did you realise what size a phenomenon Bond would be?
Well, I had no idea, as I'd never been there before, but it was the same in probably the ensuing 20 years.
Yes.
Because I had no awareness of that scale of kind of reverence and pressure and what have you. It was around the same time as the Beatles.
Yes.
And the difference, of course, was that they had four of them to kick it around and blame each other. But I made as many mistakes as anybody in dealing with the situation, because I never had a press representative or anything, and I found it a bit of a nightmare, actually, to deal with then, and eventually evolved to deal with it and handle it my own way.
Right. Okay, let's look at a clip from the first Bond movie, Dr. No.
Oh, with Ursula, yeah.
When we get married, we make them go. Underneath the mango tree.
It's a dream sequence, this, isn't it?
She still is beautiful, actually.
Yeah?
Ursula, yeah. I still see her when I go to Rome. She's great girl.
Underneath the mango tree.
Underneath the mango tree, my honey and me.
Who's that?
I didn't retire on the royalties of the records.
No, indeed not. What were you looking at in your shot? Were you actually looking at her when you were doing this?
Yes, I remember. In fact, you know, Dr. No was a very, very kind of poverty-stricken production in terms of finance.
$1 million.
It was less than that, because the dollar was devalued before we started. And so it was, and in fact it came in under. But I mean, that very sequence there, I remember Harry Saltzman and Cubby Broccoli were even out with spades when we were trying to make the beach, taking the sand back a bit. We didn't have the kind of equipment you could fly in and out there. And we were hand moving the sand. That's how much money we had.
Now tell me, what did filmmakers do to you, and what did you do to yourself to turn you into Bond? First of all, let's talk about visual things.
Well, I think that the most important element in the whole Bond series was, apart from Fleming himself, who written the original stuff and everything, I think it was Terence Young. I think he was the greatest influence.
The director of this picture.
Yeah, the director. Terence had really identified very much with being the Grand Signor, the elegant backgammon, tumbling asser. I mean, he took me on the trip to get our clothes and everything, and it was an eye-opener. The budget on the clothes was astronomical in relation to the film, but he was right, Terence, because there was a look about it. We had shoes handmade at Lobs, and no cufflinks, a special fold-back button, and I used a Windsor knot, very small Windsor knot. And equally, that we shared a kind of similar sense of humor about what was funny and what wasn't.
Oh,
Hello.
aren't you in the wrong room, Mr. Bond?
Not from where I'm standing.
Since you're here, would you mind giving me something to put on?
Strangely enough, there's a lack of humor, actually, in Fleming's writing, because he was quite about that. But very, very, very bright, very erudite, and a real snob. But
And he introduced you to Noel Coward, is that right?
yeah, well, Noel was living on the island then too, Jamaica. In fact, it's the only time I've ever been. I never got back again. And Noel was asked to play Dr. No, and he was quite funny about it, because I became very friendly with Noel too.
Did you learn from him sort of eloquent mannerisms and things like
No, I think Terence was more the influence in that than anybody, knowing what we're going for, and without going over the top. One wanted to keep a real sense of reality about the threat of it all, the sexuality, the jokes, and the physicality, when you're dealing out whatever it was.
I think he got the point.
It was coming in the wake of the kind of kitchen sink drama. So you wanted to have something that was still backgammon and chemin de fer and good food and beautiful girls and marvelous cars and rather luxurious locations.
Tell me, Miss Strange, do you play any other games? I mean, besides chemin de fer.
He was popular with men and women, which is kind of unusual. But anybody who, as I keep repeating, says that they knew it was going to be one of these immeasurable successes is lying. Yeah.
One of the things that I feel is that Bond was successful because he was free. He was free to travel the world. The only authority figure in his life was M. Apart from that, he was totally without authority. He was licensed to indulge his senses.
Yes, well, that's true too. Then, of course, he had the other side where he would do his diligence, with the running and getting in fit and yogurt, not smoke so many cigarettes. Yes. Yes. And I feel if there is a criticism about where it's gone or come, is too politically correct and a little too not quite dirty enough, not quite sort of rough enough.
Do you mean the Judi Dench bit in GoldenEye where she says, Bond, you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur? Is that what you mean?
Well, as a bit of that, yeah. I think that's what's kind of missing, because it gives a little bit of spice at no cost.
Yes.
And they start to drift towards a sort of antiseptic essence.
Yes. And then Bond escalated beyond your belief, and you changed your contract. Initially, your contract with Broccoli and Saltzman was that you could do non-Bond films, but they had to be with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did you change that?
Well, because, a few reasons, apart from their greed, was the problem of trying to accommodate another movie. Yes. If you have a film with a very tight budget and you're doing a Bond film and it's going to run over, they have you on first call. And the problem was that they always took so long, and they always ran over, and there were major problems always in the way in trying to get a start date and a finish date.
Yes.
And consequently, you missed a lot of movies because you could never give a first call.
Sean, you can come to my flat absolutely any time, and it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I like your place.
And the first film in our Connery collection is the Second World War military prison drama, and as you heard, one of Sean's favourites, The Hill, here on BBC Two in an hour. And next this evening, comedy at number 10 with Jim Hacker.